development and good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Khadija Stewart, business coach and strategist, and CEO of Deej's Diverse Training Services and board member of VAN. I will be your moderator for tonight's panel discussion. Tonight's panel is hosted by VAN, the Virtual Assistant and Administrative Empowerment Network, a nonprofit organization founded by Tikwa Scarborough. VAN was created to provide resources, training, mentorship, professional development, and support for women in business, entrepreneurship, virtual assistants, administrative careers, and personal development. Every month, Van hosts conversations like this to create a safe and empowering space for women to learn, connect, and grow together. Our discussions cover a variety of topics, including entrepreneurship, mindset, leadership, financial wellness, career transitions, business growth, professional development, and more. Tonight's discussion is near and dear to me. You guys are in for a treat. Becoming your own boss, starting a business with what you already have. This I did over 20 years ago, and the ladies tonight are amazing. We have an amazing group of women joining us tonight who are going to share their journeys, their experiences, insights, and encouragement with all of you. Sit back and relax, guys, because you are in for a treat. At this time, I'm going to allow each of our panelists to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about who they are and what they do. Panelists, if you would, can you briefly introduce yourself, share a title a little bit about who you are, and a little bit about something that makes you special? Who wants to go first? Okay, please just unmute and start.
All right. I guess I'll go first.
I'll go first.
My name is
My
Tonya
name
Franklin.
is Tonya
I
Franklin.
am from
I
Jackson.
am from Jackson, Mississippi. I relocated here from upper Mississippi, rather, was central Mississippi, about 25 years ago to go back to school, and life ended up happening. But I am now in the stage of regrowth, rebuilding, and I am the marketing and chief publicist of MJS Communications. And I love reading and I love helping people.
Thank you, Tanya. Welcome. Welcome. Dr. Cox,
I'm here. All
introduce
right.
yourself.
So I am Dr. Jacqueline Cox. That's honorary, okay? Because I don't want nobody to be doing me like y'all doing old girl, okay? I got my honorary doctorate up. It's a HC behind it, okay? I gotta let that be known. Don't come after me, okay?
We
I am an
won't.
author. I am a publisher. I am a podcast host, a creative, a mama, a wife. I wear a lot of hats, okay? But at the core of it all, I am somebody who turned pain into purpose.
Mm.
So if we're talking about my journey, it wasn't this perfectly polished success story some people see online. I grew up navigating foster care, grief, instability, domestic violence, rejection, and just a lot of life transitions very early on. So writing kind of became like my safe space before it ever became a career. It was therapy for me first. Um, Over time, those journals, poems, personal stories, it turned into best-selling books. It turned into publishing opportunities, speaking engagement, podcasts, and eventually what I have now, which is Listen Linda Publishing, brand and marketing, where I help other people tell their stories too. And I also started the Linda Listens Foundation, which brings domestic violence survivors and underprivileged youth, and I publish their stories for free. And honestly, one scripture that carried me through so much was Romans 8 and 28. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Because there were seasons where I didn't understand where I was in them. But looking back now, I can see God was still working even in that chaos. So I'm just glad to be here, glad to be a part of it, and a part of all of this going on today. And I just welcome everybody and thank you all for having me.
Welcome. I'm sure you have a lot to share. A lot. I'm excited. Krista Lore.
Hello, hello everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. I'm Krista Lower Cruz, and they actually started calling me the shift doctor. And it's because shift happens, and I've been through several different shifts in my life. And so I spent 22 years in the United States Air Force in the military, retired 2 years ago. Yes, thank you so much. And earlier on in my career, actually, when I was starting my career, I was an NFL cheerleader and a professional dancer and a professional athlete. And so I realized when I too was in a toxic, abusive relationship and my entire body shut down. I spent 6 months in a wheelchair while they tried to figure out what was wrong with me. And all the doctors were poking and prodding. And I'll tell more of my story if you like. But what I realized is I had to stand up for myself and have a voice. And I literally crawled out of that wheelchair to now almost 28 marathons next week and a 50-mile race with no medication. So this is all about the power of mindset, fitness, holistic wellness. And then I started a business to help other people navigate those seasons of change. So I'm Krista Lower Cruz. I'm really excited for this conversation because I just really love to inspire people and give them tangible, tactical tools and resources to live their happiest and healthiest, and eventually their wealthiest.
Welcome and thank you. There's so many women are going to learn tonight and they're going to take from you. Oh my gosh, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Jacqueline Woodard.
Good evening. As I've been introduced by Jacqueline, it took me 60 years to grow into Jacqueline because, when you're a baby, people give you the name that they want you to have. But God gave me a name, and my name is Jacqueline. It took me 60 years to grow into it. So I learned the name, the meaning of the name. The meaning is supplanter. I am rooted, grounded, and planted, and nothing and nobody can move me until God says move. So, regardless of what the wind does outside, Jacqueline's going to be right where God has her being for that day, that hour, that time. And the only one's going to get me to move is Him. My favorite scripture is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And trust me, when I say a hope and a future, I started this company, Dare to Dream, and I also have a nonprofit, All in the Family, and they kind of co-work together. And I'm working more diligently on Dare to Dream right now, and we work with all sorts of people. We do teenagers 18 to 21. We work with them to workforce development, resume writing. Then we look at adults that have a desire to go back to school, and we work with them to get all the roadblocks out of the way so they can go on and move to the next stage of their lives. Because it's all about feeling good on the inside about what you're doing and where you are. Because if you don't feel good about yourself, I don't care how much someone pours into you. If you're an empty bucket and you're not putting anything in there yourself, nothing is going to move you until you realize who you are in Christ and build from there and take the resources that that offer to you to better yourself. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a GG of two, a little boy and a little girl. My grandson is actually playing his first scrimmage football game in middle school, 12 years old. So I'm really excited, and I'm getting telephone updates every now and then. So I'm excited to see what he does tonight. I'm his equipment manager, by the way.
Welcome, Gigi.
Thank you.
welcome. And it's okay if you scream a little bit if he's doing good while you're on here. Christian.
Hello, everyone. I am Christian David, life and money coach. I love the title that I have on the panel ad for this discussion, financial confidence and self-leadership coach, which is basically the same thing. I teach women how to master their finances. And a little bit background of me is I'm the youngest of 6 girls, and I was very dramatic growing up, and I didn't understand what to do with all the emotions that I was feeling. Turned that into spending money, overspending, doing all the things, and finally figured it out because I understood that a woman who, first of all, I always say that your relationship with money reflects your relationship with yourself. So if you understand yourself, then you know how to spend money in a way that feels really good and really fun. And that's what I was able to achieve through my life. And so today I run the company with my sisters, three of my sisters, and we run Green Wealth Legacy. And in this company, we coach women to master their relationship with themselves so that they can use money as the tool that it is. People think that money is the thing they need to pursue and run after, but the truth is it's a self-understanding, self-leadership that really determines how you manage your money. And that's what I want for women, because so many women are being stifled because they don't have a connection to themselves. And then we think it's the money that's the problem, but it really isn't, because it shows up everywhere else, not just in the money. Also, I'm a very fun auntie. I have 6 nieces and nephews, one and only girl who looks just like me, so I claim her as my own. It's my favorite thing to do, tell everybody that she belongs to me, even if her mama is around. And I have twin boys that are 6 years old, and then their cousin, who's like exactly 6 months younger than them, from 2 sisters that are twin. Yes, I love bragging about that. So I have a really fun family, love my nieces and nephews, fun auntie. I have photo shoots with them every 5 years. So I'm really looking forward to tonight's conversation, because I believe women have so much power that they don't even understand, and we need to uncover that.
Welcome, Auntie. Welcome. I love it. Oh gosh, you women are so interesting. Priyanka.
Hi everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this panel. I'm already loving it so much. It's amazing how much power we have and how much we also celebrate our personal as well as professional lives. So I'm really excited to be among such amazing trailblazing women. My name is Priyanka Lalwani. I am a procrastination coach or a productivity coach, and I help women. I think of it like I want to help my younger self to stop procrastinating and reclaim my power. So that's where it started. And I want to help many, many women to know how stronger we are and how we can take action one step at a time. And it's okay to be messy, and it's okay that it has discomfort, but I think those two are good things to have. And also take a look at all the stories that we've been taught, and do we want to change that narrative? So definitely I work with women to change that narrative, think in a different way. Um, and It's amazing to also see that there are so many creative people. I'm also a Bollywood music producer. I don't know how many of you here
Yeah.
listen to, dance to Bollywood music. I love that. Someday, I think when we have this next time, I would like to start with like a dance step or something. Bollywood dancing in the Zoom calls that we have, like this one. So I'm a Bollywood music producer. I'm a marketeer. I'm a producer. I also teach in a school. And my topics are mindset, marketing, and music. So all those 3, I've had some educational trainings up in B2B and B2C, and I'm really excited to change the narrative in the minds of young women that you don't need to follow the protocol of what has been given to you by the society, whether it's marriage or kids or any kind of path that they have told you to do. You can choose your own path and you can go forward with that. And I really wanted to share that with uh, people who are just going out there and not knowing and not having the right friends or right peers or right mentors to guide them through the process. So I'm happy to really help them with that. And with all of you over here, I'm sure we can also pass on that message to your communities also. Yeah. So I'm really excited, pumped to be here, and thank you for bringing me here. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Powerful, Priyanka. Thank you. Powerful. Ladies, I'm already overwhelmed with your stories. I am. I'm loving this. I love sister girl moments, and this is one of those powerful sister girl moments. I'm loving it. Let's jump in, ladies. Let's get started. Many women have experienced layoffs, job loss, being forced out of positions, career instability, or unexpected life transitions. Can you share what that season looked like for you personally and how it impacted you financially, emotionally, or professionally? I think I'm going to give this to Dr. Jacqueline Cox, honorary.
Please get it right. Girl, don't
Jacqueline Cox,
crucify me like they doing her, girl. I ain't
go
got
ahead and tackle
time,
that one
okay?
for me.
But I did get my bachelor's, okay, from University of Arizona Global Campus, okay. We go in business, okay. I want to be clear, okay. Woo!
Thank you. You have your
Okay,
degree
so
too.
to answer your question, Khadija, I think a lot of women quietly go through rebuilding those seasons without even realizing what that is. For me, there were definitely seasons where life felt like unstable emotionally, financially, and professionally all at once. I've had those moments where I felt overlooked, unsupported, exhausted, and honestly tired of constantly having to figure it out. You know, as women, we always have to figure it out. We are the end all be all of making stuff happen. So when you're used to being the strong, being strong, people don't always realize how heavy things really are for you behind closed doors. Um, Especially like I said, us as women, because I always say this on every time I think about it. Women are like we're at the bottom of the totem pole, but we're holding everybody else up. And people don't understand that. There are moments where I question myself, but I also learned that sometimes God will allow uncomfortable transitions because He's trying to push you into your purpose, into ownership or growth. And going again back to the scripture, Isaiah 43:19 became real for me in those seasons where it said, "Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth." So sometimes the old seasons has to close before a new one can be born. That's all I got.
Thank you. Powerful. Wow. The old season has to leave before the new one can be born. Ladies, hear that, right? Because some of us are in our old season still, right? Anybody else want to tackle that question? What did that season look like for you? Christian?
I think about for many years I worked with someone, and then I've been my own boss now for a little less than 10 years. And it was really interesting. Um, I think it makes me think about moving out of the family home. When you live at home and you need a hammer, you want to set up your room, you want to redecorate, you want to cook, you have supplies. Mom already bought it, right? When you move out, you need a hammer, you need to buy it. You need a nail, you need to buy it. Every single piece of equipment you need for your new place, you need to buy it. All of a sudden, you start to realize this is not all it's cracked out to be. I have to be responsible. And that's how entrepreneurship felt like. You become your own boss. You do all the details. Clocking in, clocking out, lunchtime, medical leave, vacation time, leaving work early, what work you need to do, all of the things, it's on you. 100%. And financially was even more amazing because as I overcame my own financial problems, as mentioned, I was an overspender. I was able to circumvent that and understand myself so much stronger that I now have a better relationship with money. But then I had to realize, so I know how to make financial decisions personally because I had to create a protocol for that, right? To support myself. But when you become an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to make business financial decisions. That's a different beast. So there were so many tiny little details. There's no book that describes how to proceed. And the learning in the process was so enlightening. I mean, there's so much to discover about yourself. The best part about all of this is I was so excited to do this. I didn't jump into entrepreneurship um, out of, sometimes you think you have to, but it's a really dangerous thing to say to yourself, I have to do this. I jumped into because I wanted to, no matter how the economy was. And so because I wanted to, all of these discoveries were exciting. It was like an adventure, like, oh, let me see how I'm going to do this. Let me see how I'm going to obey my boss. And then the other day, I took a week off because I'm volunteering this week. And my mom was like, oh, so you can just leave? I'm like, yeah, my boss is pretty amazing. She gave me the whole week off. So it was this whole thing, and it's just been an amazing adventure for me. But it's been really challenging, extremely challenging, which challenge is a beautiful thing. I welcome all of it.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. The reality of it, right? The reality of stepping into that new world. That's really powerful. It is. Let's go to another question. What helped you begin rebuilding your confidence, stability, or sense of direction during that time? I'm going to go right to Crystalor because we heard some really traumatic experiences. And then Jacqueline Woodard, after her, I want to hear your reflections on that. Crystalor, tackle that for us, right?
Yeah,
What was,
so I would say rebuilding confidence, I think when we're starting something new or wanting to be our own boss or go out into entrepreneurship or making a shift in your life, in your career, in your business, in your relationships, we go from being successful at something, a master of something, to being basically an infant, naked and afraid on a deserted island, feeling like a kindergartner, feeling like we know nobody, know nothing or nobody, and we are nobody. And so starting over, I feel like sometimes can feel very isolating and overwhelming. And I know for me, all of these times that I've had to shift in my career, in my marriage, in my business, I moved 5 times in 7 years. I was in the military and I had to move all over and I had to pick up and go. And what I find when it comes to confidence, confidence comes from clarity and it comes from consistent behavior.
Mhm.
So, and that's when the momentum and then the confidence and then that feel good feeling happens later. It doesn't happen in the beginning. So when I think about all of these times when I felt like I was a beginner, I literally would read my resume. Like if you read my bio, I actually shock myself sometimes how much I have done. And Christiana, I think it was, or no, maybe it was Jacqueline that mentioned that we're like a totem pole. Like we've just carried the weight of the world and we just do. And when you've done for so long and then the rug gets pulled out from beneath you or starting something new, you kind of forget about all the good stuff and all the things that you've accomplished. And that was me. And it really
Mhm.
wasn't until I had a coach that I had to I got a scholarship. I poured my heart out to this woman who was helping transitioning veterans find their service and their purpose after their service. And I just was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been broke and without a job for 6 months. I just moved to a new city. I don't know anybody. And prior to that, I had an MBA. I was high ranking in the military and I became this big. And she's like, let me look at your resume. Let's write down all the things that you have accomplished and let's tally those up. What have you done? What have you helped people with? And I wrote all that down. I reread my resume and I'm like, oh yeah, I have done all of that. And that gives me just a little bit of a standing ground to be like, okay, if I did this next season, yes, it's going to be scary, but I'm not starting over. I'm starting I'm starting something new, which I've never done before, but I'm not new to this.
Mhm.
And so I think that's why I love this conversation of being your own boss and really capitalizing on your strengths, your experiences, your education, all the things, even the the things that aren't certified, like the thing that people tell you that you are magnetic about. I think if we can capitalize on those, that's what breeds the confidence. And then doing those over and over again and not trying to go up a wall or do something that someone else has for you when like your worth, your God-given gifts. Let's figure out what those are and you can be unstoppable. And like I would say, you can't argue with this passion because my energy will just pierce through your screen because I'm in alignment of my God-given gifts, my experience, my credibility, my integrity. And I'm just like, it's so narrow. And that is what breeds the confidence, I believe. And obviously, there's health, there's all the other stuff. But I think when we can truly step into our gifts and you capitalize on our experience, even the not so good ones. And I heard this from a coach. It's the story that you don't want to tell that you're gonna be able to help people with. And I got some ugly stories, y'all. And I'm telling you, I've been hiding them away. And I'm like, yeah, we're not gonna talk about those ones, but those are the magic ones. So, and it's scary, but it's worth it. So I'll end there.
Awesome. I want to say also thank you for your service. I didn't
Thank
get a
you.
chance to say that, but sis, thank you. Oh, finding the confidence from within. You got it already. Look at the bad days. It'll bring up the good ones, right?
Mhm.
Love it. Jacqueline Woodard, what does that look like? What did it look like for you in that season? Where did you get to rebuild that confidence from?
Rebuilding the confidence was I went through a divorce uh, in December some years ago. Just walked in and say I no longer want to be married. I had two children, two girls, and it shocked me. So every day from that time on, from December to May, I was like a dead person. I wouldn't even go outside. Going to work was not even happy or anything. So I packed up, moved everything, got everybody settled after the girls got out of school in May of that year. Um, and I'm silly, but God is funny. One of the things that I hold on to is because of the way everything happened, I always think of it as God's way of moving me out because He does not want me to be trampled on. He didn't bring me in this world for that. He brought me in to be the strong, independent woman that only needs Him when it comes to that aspect of building and putting confidence in me that that I had. And it crushed that confidence in me when that happened because you never ever think that you walk down an aisle and then, 2, 3 years later, somebody comes in and says they just no longer want to be married. So after I went through those dark days of not talking to anybody, barely eating, not going to work, I just began to pray, and God says, "Okay, girl, let's get up. These girls got to go to school, so you've got to have some place for them to live." So I always make silly jokes about it now that God didn't put me there just to have a story to tell, but to really look at the quality of life that I could have without that peace.
Mm.
And so building that confidence and being able to pour into other women that had had that same thing to happen to them. Different story, but still, divorce is divorce, and it takes a lot out of you mentally and physically to the point to where you have no life at all. I mean, the couch is your friend, and you name it, couch, couch, come here, couch, and you just get up and make things happen and know that things are going to get better. And I've always been a journaler, so I had a journal and things that happened to me, I would write them down. And for a long time, I had a wall and I wouldn't even talk to men because I thought all of them were alike.
Mm.
So building the stability to know that I had two daughters that needed to eat, they needed a roof over their head, they needed to get their education. So I look back and I'm like, he came and made that announcement. Now, what do I want to do in return? I can either lay here all day and weep, or I can get up and show him that I am who God called me to be. And regardless of who he thinks I may be, he does not have the final say. So I got up, started putting my makeup back on, combing my hair, making myself be presentable. And I had a red suit at the time that I had made because I'm a seamstress also. And he hated when I wore that suit. The last time I saw him, I had that suit on. And I it was like, what do you think about it now? So just rebuilding, and throw that mud back in his face.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
And like when I see him today, I'm like, I'm still here. I'm here. I'm still here. If you thought you were crushing me, you don't have that power over me. So let's keep on stepping. He won't even come to a place where I am unless it's going to be a big crowd. But I'm not going to say anything to him. I'm just going to keep on walking and letting him know that what he did then didn't stop me from where I'm supposed to be.
Thank you. That's right, ma'am. Confidence from Faith. Faith. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. Panel empowering. I want to remind everyone joining us tonight that the resources and connections matter. This is the one reason VAN exists. We'll be providing a resource link where you can connect with these panelists, learn more about their services, and access additional information shared in tonight's discussions. You can also visit the VAN website for upcoming events, webinars, and resources. We also invite you to join us for our Coffee, Tea, and Connection Network session held every second and fourth Saturday, where we come together just like this to talk about business, growth, entrepreneurship, and we support one another in our community. VAN also holds webinars, professional development opportunities throughout the year. So we encourage you to stay connected. If these women tonight speak to you, then come on back for some more and visit the website, vaaen.org. We are going to jump back into some more questions because we have some more awesome women to give us some more awesome information and stories. So I am going to ask the next question, and I'm going to ask this one of Priyanka. Now, sometimes we overlook the value of what we already have. What skills, experiences, or strengths did you realize could actually become an opportunity, business, or next step for you? I love this question. Go ahead.
It's an incredible question. For me, like I said, I am a Bollywood music producer. For me, that tool was literally my voice. And I didn't even realize it till like late in my life, where my whole purpose became just to use my voice, not just in singing, like that's where I started, but also in speaking up, in showing courage, and also telling what I want to say fearlessly and unapologetically. So I think there are a lot of resources that we already have, and normally it starts with physical resources, like materialistic resources. But I feel like if we look within ourselves, we will be able to find a lot of like hidden treasures, like I consider it, and we can harness that and we can use that as a catalyst for making a change and inspiring other women. So I feel like for me it was definitely my voice where I got started with, oh, I can speak up, like I'm not like I can argue, or I can question what I'm being told to do, and do I want to do that? And going from there onwards to really letting go all those expectations that were put on me as a woman, to say, you know what, I don't want this, I cannot do this, and really speaking up and sharing my opinion unapologetically and fearlessly and fiercely and ferociously, so that I am proud, like my younger self is proud of myself right now, and I keep becoming the woman that I want to become. And I also keep inspiring and taking people along with me, taking women along with me in this journey. So yeah, so that's my story in terms of like the tools, and it was my voice. Yeah.
You found your tools within yourself. I love it. Yes. So many women don't realize that they have all they need within themselves. Oh, powerful, Priyanka. Tanya, tell us, what about those experiences and those tools and what did you use? Tanya, are you with us? I know we can't hear you. Okay, we'll come back. Yeah, we can't hear you, Tanya. Mm, it's okay. Technical difficulties don't stop the show. Not when you have powerful women on here sharing. We'll come back. We will definitely come back. Crystal, you wanted to tackle that one.
Yeah, I just want to kind of piggyback on Priyanka. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was your voice. That was similar to me. I've been a dancer and a performer my whole life, and I was actually a professional belly dancer. So I would definitely want to connect. We need to have some dance parties. I was thinking the same thing. We need to have a dance party next time before we come on. But what I realized is my art and my expression was physical. It wasn't with my voice. And so I didn't practice that. I used my body I was performing to put smiles on people's faces. And so what I realized over, gosh, almost 40 years, where I was like, I actually have a voice in there and I had to work at it so that I can present. I'm good at the performance part, but it's the authenticity and the vulnerability that I realized once I did some more deep inner work. And now I do a lot of somatic coaching for some of these fears of being on stage and sharing our voice. That is when I started doing that work. And like, I actually had lockjaw. I had, I lost my voice when I went to go share it. I've, I've had physical issues and abuse. So like, and I've been told like, no, you are only supposed to speak when spoken to. So like, there's so many things that can cause us to not use our voice. And I think when it comes to entrepreneurship, we're so afraid to be visible. I think there's many, many women out there, especially because we've been conditioned to not speak and to show up as a certain way. And I know for me as a military member, we check our feelings at the door where you have to do, show up, do the work, come early, stay late, prove yourself, prove your worth, like be stoic. And there's parts of us that get lost in that. And what I find, and I'll land here, is that there was a little girl inside of me that was a dancer and a performer but she needed to find her voice along the way and step up and really that was part of the biggest work that I had to do. But I capitalized on the ability that I can show up and perform, and then I had to work on the voice to match the performance on the outside. And so when I started my online fitness business in 2017 before COVID, I literally was like showing up on camera. I had deer in headlight looks. The camera was sideways. I had no idea what I was doing, but I'm like, I'm just gonna keep showing up and get the reps. And finally, like I still have some of those videos from way back when, and it's so cool to see how I've stepped into my voice and how it has grown and expanded to match what you see on the outside. That confidence up, I was not confident. I didn't know how to use my voice because I was stifled for so long. And so if there's someone out there that you're scared to be visible for what your families are going to say, I'm a speaker, I'm an author now. I've written 5 books. I have 3 more coming this year. Getting your message out is probably one of the most vulnerable and scariest things. And it takes work, and it's a muscle. It's like doing a workout. I teach workouts. I teach people how to do burpees. You can't just show up and be an expert on day one. You got to work that muscle and get the reps in. And so I would say for anybody out there, come live, just do some of these panels and do the reps. And it's not reading a book, and YouTube University is not going to get you there. Get the reps in and practice sharing your story. And I promise you that voice, you're going to find it. And also, people further along than you are not going to judge you. You got to find the right community of the sisterhood, the people that are going to support you and cheer you on and just give you that space and that seat at the table to share your voice. And the right ones are going to pull you along and help you shorten that time period. So we're not meant to do it alone. So that's all
I
I have to
love
say
it.
there.
I love it. Thank you, Crystal, for sharing. You know, I coach, business coach women specifically, some of them in trauma, some of them in some of these experiences, right? And one thing I tell them to do, look in the mirror, talk to yourself. I love the fact that you said you were smiling and it was stuck, like lockjaw, right? Because you smiled for everybody else, but look in the mirror and smile at yourself, right? I love that. I love that. We're gonna go to another question. Let's get into some more stuff. Wow. For women who are considering entrepreneurship or creating additional income streams, what advice would you give them about getting started, right? That start is key sometimes. It's really key. Jacqueline Cox, come on now, you shaking and moving. Let's go. Tell us. What's that key to getting started?
Well, uh, start before you fully feel ready. Seriously.
Mm,
A lot of people think they need a huge budget, a perfect website, or thousands of followers before they can begin. But most successful businesses usually start with somebody deciding to use what they already have access to. Kind of like me. Like, I realized my voice was valuable before I even realized it was marketable. Real talk. Like, even back in school, people would pay me to write essays and poetry for them. Storytelling, it came naturally for me. But because it was natural, I underestimated its value for a long time. I also realized I had gifts. You know, I was always singing, I was always writing music. So that always came naturally to me as well. So when I started, doing branding and strategy and using my creativity, it started to help people to bring their visions to life too. So what I'm basically is trying to say is that pay attention to what people naturally come to you for. Not what you think you got to go to school for, not what you think you got to research, not pay attention
mhm.
to what problem that you solve easily. What did you survive that somebody else is currently trying to heal from? There's purpose in that. I went through so much in my life, and poetry was my gateway. And I was scrolling. It was right after COVID. I had just shut down my cryo skin shop. Before that, I found out I had lupus, SLE,
Mm.
and I was, kind of almost like forced out of my job at DCFS, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was scrolling one day. I was sitting on my couch. My husband was playing his video game, and I'm scrolling on Facebook, and I saw an ad that says 21-day poetry challenge with Bookleaf Publishing, right? And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. So I did it. And that book catapulted me into book groups on Facebook and stuff like that. And before I knew it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to write my book. I'm going to write a story about my life. I got stuff I want to say. That book, Mountains Can't Rise Without Earthquakes, stayed on #1 bestseller on Amazon in all categories for 91 days, like Psalm 91. And it's still there today, 4 years later. Best-selling author, okay? And from there, I have written, actually, did I've been the visionary for 11 anthologies, all bestsellers. I've published over 200 stories. All my clients, every project that I've ever touched has hit bestseller. And it's not because of a strategy or I'm doing something, no, it's when God has favor on your life, you're going to be like Midas. Everything you touch is going to be golden. So God gave all of us gifts. So you have to realize that your life experience becomes qualifications too. God don't call or qualify, he qualifies the call. So there's a scripture in Proverbs 18:16, a man's gift make room for him. And I truly believe that all of us are sitting on gifts that open doors if we stop doubting what God has already placed inside of us. And I truly believe that. And I think because I have believed that so much, that's the reason why, you know how they say God will put you on a platform for the world to see? 87 countries, 588 cities. That is my brand. That is where people are hearing me from. And I would never guess the people in Japan and Argentina and China and South Africa, that is my main platforms right now. So you do the work, but you also have to know those gifts will make room for your inheritance. All you have to do is just trust God in it. That's all I got.
That's a whole lot, sis. That's not all. That's all because you gave us a starting point. And it sounds like to me the starting point is recognize who you are. Just recognize who you are. That's the best place to start. I love it. Ladies, this is too good. We're getting into time. I've got to get through some more of these questions. Tanya, are you with us? Are we going to be able to ask you a question?
Yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. Okay, you have the next question up then. Entrepreneurship and rebuilding are often glamorized online. We all know about the bling bling society, right? What were some real challenges you faced while rebuilding or building your business that people don't even talk about enough?
Oh, time, support. I struggled very early on in my business with trying to find my tribe. It was a lot of hit and miss, a lot of me trying to fit in spaces that didn't serve me. I tried to create myself in a way where I would fit what everybody else was doing. And because of that, I think that hindered me a lot in growing early on in my business. After I lost my job and then I became homeless, like literally like 8 months after that. And I had already started my business, but I was just in the beginning stages. And so I was looking for a life raft. I was looking for somebody to come and help me and save me. But I had to realize that the gift that I already have, that those gifts will be the ones that open the doors. I don't have to try to fit into what everybody else is trying to do. And that kind of opened the door for me to want to be a consultant in helping with business culture, because a lot of times people tend to forget the ones that are sort of the entry level or the ones that are behind the scenes. And your business doesn't work without systems and processes. And sometimes those systems and processes are people. So me finding my tribe and having those type of people that were in my corner to motivate me and encourage me, that became my system. That became my operating system. So, I had to learn that I have to be in places that serve me, that help me to become better at what I do, and not try to fit in on what looks popular, what looks good, what looks like it's trending, but that I had to be able to stand out and stand out on my own.
I love it. I love it. Find your tribe, right? Don't fit into someone else's box. Make your own. I love it. Okay, ladies, this is getting good. I just want to sit back and listen. I'm moderating, but I have to keep it going. Priyanka, let's try this one. What practices, resources, tools, habits, or support systems help move you forward during your rebuilding season? So I know earlier you were saying you pulled in on your strengths and what you were good at, music and dancing. But what other resources did you pull on to kind of get
For
that
me, the
next step?
number one resource is gratitude. Practicing gratitude every single day,
Mm.
being thankful for what you have, recognizing your value, your worth, and putting it down on paper, saying it out aloud like you mean it. So I say it like in nature, like I'm talking to myself in nature, and I'm walking and saying that to myself, and that's very affirming. That's really something that helps you, um, recognize your worth and give yourself that self-soothing experience, and give yourself that reassurance that, hey, I'm there, I'm here, I'm there, I've reached here, and I've got this, like, nothing can stop me, like, I'm unstoppable now. So giving yourself that assurance is very, very important, and not expecting that from others. I think that is also very key, because we want to motivate ourselves from within. That is in our control. If we expect that from someone else, it's out of our control. That's you cannot do that. You cannot expect someone else to behave in a certain way, but you can do that for yourself. So I think that was one of the number one practices for me to get started with. And in terms of health, I felt like for me the most basic foundation is sleep. If my sleep is not in place, everything else falls in out of whack. So you have to recognize your own tendencies, and these have now become a part of my productivity practice, where I have some tests which I have taken myself. I've also created them for others, and by taking those tests, you identify your own tendencies in procrastination or productivity, and you kind of understand, okay, this is what happens to me. So it's not general advice, it's advice which is like really really specific to you and your bio individuality. So I think that is very important for us to understand in terms of like practices, like what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and can you double down on like the clarity that you have in terms of you know okay, if this is working for me, I want to double down on that. And if it's not working for me, okay, let me just release it and let it go. Don't hold on to it for too long. So I feel like that has been very helpful in terms of developing appreciation for a person who has had tendencies of abandonment. I left myself many times in the past as a kid, where I gave more importance to other people and like people pleasing, and avoided my own intuition, avoided the voice inside me, avoided the inner drummer. So now it's like becoming more and more clear to me that I need to first be so clear with my own voice that that itself will lead me to the next thing. I don't need to think about the perception of others, how others are perceiving me. I just need to ensure that I am proud of what I'm doing, and that my younger self will always be proud of everything that I've done till now. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Oh, I love that. Right? We don't have to be uncomfortable with who we are to grow. And I love the fact that you said find out what you need specifically, right? Because what I need may not be what you need, but I need to know what I need. I love it. Christian, I need you to tackle this one for me. Looking back now, what would you say to the version of yourself who was afraid to start over?
Oh, girl, relax. You got this. I mean, and I think it's just the socializing that we are embedded with, right? As women, we have so many things that we think we should be doing right. We should be perfect at this. We should be performing here. We should be, everyone around us should be happy. And this people pleasing, I find a lot of times a lot of women who think they're people pleasers, they're not actually people pleasers. They've just been so accustomed to doing it that they forgot their own voices. And then when they come home to themselves, they realize, actually, no, I don't care what people think. I actually like to focus on what I think first, and then that's what drives my actions. And when you find that alignment, there's so much joy in life. And then you find the alignment around with people around you, because then they start to see who you truly are and they love that version of you. So that's the piece that was missing a lot for myself, because the way I was spending money, I was like, I don't actually like this way. And when you're transitioning from working, getting a salary, to being your own boss, it's imperative, I can't say that enough, that your relationship with money shifts, and that it makes sense, and then it's organized and it's aligned, and that you know what's coming in, what's going out, what you want, who you're becoming, what dreams you want to achieve. You absolutely need to know these things, because the little girl that I was never asked, what do you want? She was lost. That's why she had to like fill these roles and do all these things and be this perfectionist. And so when I look back, I can tell her, relax, just determine what you want and you'll get it. It's so simple, and it's not the easiest thing to do, but it has to be the foundation. You've got to determine what you want, and really allow yourself to go there. And I don't know if you guys all notice here, the theme of this conversation is coming home to yourself.
Yeah.
Stop listening. We need to do this. And for me too, stop listening to so much noise. Come home, listen to the voice. She's there. You know what you want. You know who you are. You don't need to learn it from a book. You already know it. All you need to do is just turn on the volume.
Right.
And you will know exactly what to do. It's not going to be easy. It shouldn't be easy. You should never want it to be easy. But just listen. Pay attention and then do it, even when it's hard, especially if it's hard. Like we were talking about starting before you're ready. I always tell that girl, I'm like, you started before you were ready. You always did, and it was always successful. The fear was there, and you were like, oh yeah, come sit down. Let's go. That's the secret. So don't be afraid of your emotions. Don't be afraid of the future. Just keep stepping up. And that little girl, she's looking and she's like, oh, thank God, you got my back. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, we need to just keep listening to that voice inside of us.
I love it. Come home to yourself. Ah, I'll be stealing that one. I will.
Go ahead.
I love it. Come home to yourself. Yes. Ladies, it's getting close to that time. I have one last question I'm gonna try to squeeze in. And Jacqueline Woodard, I want you to tackle this one for us. We got a few minutes. What is the one final piece of encouragement, advice, or next step you would leave with women who are currently trying to rebuild their lives, careers, or confidence? You know, you left a marriage. You just walked out of. What's that piece of advice you're going to give your sisters?
Know who you are in Christ.
Mm.
If you don't have a relationship with him, that crisis will cause you to build a relationship with him because there's nobody else. There's some of the things that you need to talk about, you can tell anybody about. So that's kind of where I built my part of my stability and building the confidence that I have. I always would tell people that I did not know who I was for a long time during that period. And I wouldn't go out and do anything but drop my girls off at school and back home. The blinds were closed. It was dark because that's where my heart, my mind, my soul was. But I could not allow that to hold me there because God didn't want me there. So I had to learn how to pray, go back to that land of prayer and humming those old hymns that you hear about mama and grandma. Grandmama used to do this and grandmama used to do that. Those are the things that will carry you through the rough periods. If you forget, if you just turn on the YouTube and go back and do Mahalia Jackson or somebody like that to moan you into solidarity and building that foundation. Find you a Mona and lean in on him. So building your relationship with Christ will carry you from regardless of what you do. Or allow him to order your steps. And you're in tune with him. And when you allow him to order your steps, things are not going to be easy because he didn't promise us that they would be. But we will accept them and he'll work through them with us. So that's what I would do with any entrepreneur because it was not easy. Stepping out in entrepreneurship is not going to be easy. It's not going to be glamorous because many days I've gotten so tired that I just want to throw the computer and take the papers that I had to fill all that, pay out all that money for and just rip them up and close the door. But he says, no, sister, you're not going to do that. That's not who you are. And that's out of your purpose when you would do that. So lean in into your purpose.
That part. I love it, Faith. You know, and I want to make a note for anyone listening that maybe not Christian, but have faith, right? Because Tikwa and we've been bestie buddies in business for over 10 years now. And we always lean on the fact that I'm Muslim and she's Christian, but we draw on the similarities in our belief in the Creator. That part, right? Find your sister in faith and grab onto her and don't let her go. Because she will be there to help remind you of who's really in control of it all. I love it, ladies. Whoo, this was I'm full. Are you ladies full? I'm full. I am full.
Khadijah, can I just say, I want to say it in front of everyone. You did an amazing job.
You all did it. I
To
did
reel
nothing.
this in an hour.
But we're not done. We're not done. We're
Mad
not done.
respect.
Oh my gosh, ladies. Thank you again. You guys have been incredible panelists for sharing your stories, your wisdom, your experiences, and your strength and faith. I must add that. I cannot end without saying that. And thank you to everyone who joined us tonight for Van's panel discussion. We hope tonight encouraged you. It inspired you, and it reminded you that you do not have to navigate your journey alone. Please stay connected to Van for future panels, webinars, networking events, and resources. Everyone, thank you for joining and have a wonderful evening. If you've logged on, panelists, hang in. Thank you. So, Tikwa, are you here with us? So, ladies, you were